Welcome to Oddball. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hockey jerseys are stupid, according to my co-host, Izzy Gutierrez.
So
but you won't hear him say that tonight when he's at whatever the name of that. Wintrust? What's the name of that?
They have
arena?
a strap in the back for some reason, and I don't know what they use it for in actual. Right.
It's for fighting.
What's the point for us regular civilians? Like,
it's
you don't need
so
that.
you can feel like you can fight like a hockey player.
Yeah. Just give me the patch. That's all I need.
That's all he needs is a patch. All right. That's Izzy Gutierrez. I'm Amin Al-Hassan, and we had playoff miracles happen last night as the Knicks came up big in Game 3, 106-100. It's the first Eastern Conference win for the Knicks in 25 years. I feel like everything that happens to them is the first in 25 years. Game 1 was their first loss in 25 years. Game 2 was their first back-to-back loss in 25 years. Game 3 is their first win in 25 years. It's a third 20-point comeback of the postseason. All three have come on the road. The Pacers had a 96% chance to win the game early in the third, according to Whomst. I'm sick and tired of these probabilities. They're just making it up. Izzy, do you know how the math works for this?
How they think we have done a little bit of research here. This is, I believe, how it's. Yes, this is how.
Yep.
They use the corgi.
It's a corgi at the top of the stairs.
It's so dumb. Like, never have I been like. You're just putting a number to a feeling because there's games like I used to have a thing where it's like, all right, and this is back in the day. Now this shows you how far back it was because now games like deficits go away forever, really quickly. But I used to say, in the fourth quarter, if your deficit matches the amount of minutes left on the clock, you're probably cooked. That's crazy. Like being down 12 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I used to say that all the time. It's a stupid ass rule, but I used to say that to myself. Now you could be down 20 with 4 minutes left, game still on.
The other day, I can't remember which game it was. It might have been the Pacers game 1 when they were down 14 with like 3.5 minutes to go. ESPN Stats and Info posted this on Get Up. They said, "Oh, it's a 99% chance, 99.8%." I was like, "Bullshit! 14 with 3 minutes to go. Like, what in what world?"
I saw that and I was like, "That's impossible. That's 5 possessions. 5 possessions.
Has to be a typo. Yeah,
terrible.
Especially with a 3-point shooting, but even without a crazy 3-point shooting,
let's just assume it's in the high 90s whenever a team has a decent lead in the fourth quarter, and then you just move on.
Don't point it out to me. I don't even want to know because I don't believe in the methodology of this. But anyways, they did this, of course, behind Karl-Anthony Towns, who finished 24 points, 20 of them in the fourth quarter. Now, Izzy, this is the most hilarious thing because through 3 quarters, he was garbage, right? The Pacers were attacking him. They're taking advantage of him. He offensively couldn't get anything going. He was committing the dumbest fouls known to man. And so at the end of the third quarter, when they insert him and the Pacers go on a little mini scoring burst right there, I wondered aloud on Threads. I said, is it time to have the conversation about maybe we should bench Karl-Anthony Towns if you want to win this game? And from the moment I hit send on that on my flight with the slow ass Wi-Fi, by the time it posted, he was well on his way to going 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 8 rebounds, a couple and ones, a crazy dunk, the best game of his career, I would say.
The best quarter of his career. Take away the rest of it, and it makes for the best game. He was on the verge. Like I was trying to learn Photoshop, and I was going to turn that garbage bag that they were throwing at the Pacers fan into Karl-Anthony Towns, but that didn't even happen because he had this stretch right here. And look, I don't want to be hyperbolic about this, but there are moments in players' careers where they have a breakthrough. And, however we want to dissect it, he clearly hadn't come up big in big games in the playoffs in the past. He had disappeared. He had done the thing. You mentioned the stupid fouls all the time. Yeah. This type of stretch on the road, must-have game, not really, that run wasn't really co-signed by Jalen Brunson. He wasn't a part of it for half of the time. Yeah. He was on the bench in foul trouble. That can unlock some stuff. That can possibly keep him from being that, guy who disappears all the time. In fact, I would argue this is a sign that you need to feature him more because he seems to have broken through mentally, even if he wasn't there, even if it's just us talking and us saying, well, this is what it looks like, so this is what it must be. He's like choking in those situations. When he comes up this large, feels like he can repeat that a few times. It feels like mentally he's broken through something.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Like, it definitely was like a seminal moment because he was having what I know, at least in my group chat, we're talking like, this is Karl-Anthony Towns in the playoffs, dude. He's a guy who crumbles in the moment. He's a guy that does not have the poise to even like not pick up the fouls. Forget about hitting big shots or anything like that. Just defend without picking up stupid, cheap fouls. Like, that's not who he is really in the playoffs. And then he turned in, like I said, it was amazing. I had to post a little clip from Dumb and Dumber where like Harry and Lloyd says, Harry says to Lloyd, just when I thought you couldn't do anything even any dumber, you have to go ahead and do this and totally redeem yourself, because he did. And by the way, to all the people who are like, oh, look at this clown talking about me. Hey, I defy any of you to watch the first 3 quarters of that game and tell me this guy's due for a great game. Look, hand up, my bad, my foul. He was amazing in the 4th quarter and he won them that game for sure. But let's not pretend like me saying that like makes me some sort of dumbass or some. Come on, man. Everyone watching the game, he was awful.
The thing about KAT is it wasn't like he went to this bag of tricks he didn't have. It wasn't that. It was just, hey, I made that first catch and shoot 3, probably got him going. He was posted up, single coverage, no double, just go spin move, layup, all easy stuff, like cutting through the lane for a dunk. Like, that's not even all his doing. You know, they got to get the guy who was stuck, whoever made that pass, to actually make the pass. And so I think early on in games, he should be featured more, because you know he's going to be aggressive. Like when KAT wants to have a big game, you can tell he goes after rebounds harder. He does everything harder, but he doesn't do anything necessarily better. So if you're going to get an aggressive version of Karl-Anthony Towns, just try it right off the bat. And if he goes, 5 for 6 in the first quarter, great. You probably got him going for the rest of the game. You don't want to wait until the 4th quarter and hope he can have a run like this.
Right. And well, you don't want it to get to that place where it was in the first half, at least. I get the question, by the way, is, has any player ever changed their reputation in a single quarter like KAT did in Game 3? I would point to 2010 Western Conference Finals, Game 5. Ron Artest had as bad of a game as you can have, culminating into like a terrible 3-point attempt with plenty of time on the clock that allowed us, I was with the Suns, to get the ball back. We ended up tying the game on a Jason Richardson bank shot 3 from like 27 feet. And they call timeout and they draw up the play for the last second play. And my buddy who worked for the Lakers at the time told me, in that huddle, they were all plotting about, this game is going to end. We're going to lose this game. And then we're going to go into the showers and we're going to beat up Ron Artest. We're going to jump him like Full Metal Jacket style. Right.
Why do they have to wait till the showers? They can just do that with their clothes on. But anyway,
no, because it's like it's Ron Artest. So you got to get the element of surprise, right? You can't be suspecting it. And if you know what happens next, Kobe Bryant grabs it on the sideline, airballs the potential game-winning shot, and Artest is up there underneath, grabs a rebound, lays it up, and they literally carried him on their shoulders off the court. It went from they were going to dogpile him to the hero. He becomes the hero of the game. And then obviously he moves on. And then in Game 7 of the finals, he has that huge game and everything.
The Kobe pass it to me game.
Yep. He's
and so did that change his reputation within the team? Sure. You think it changed his reputation like nationally? Because I remember that play and I remember him getting a lot of love for it. But I don't know if like that changed his reputation to, well, now he's always going to take the right shots or do the right thing.
I think no, yeah, it's not necessarily that. I think his reputation would have been disaster. It would have been like you're just a nobody, or not a nobody. You're a buffoon who has ruined.
You're an a-hole. You're not an MFer.
Yep. Yes, that's a great way to put it. The other example I could think of is Robert Horry, but this is different. It's not necessarily changing reputation versus building reputation. Robert Horry. In 1995, he's like a second-year player, a third-year player. He has a playoff game where he doesn't take a single shot. And then the first shot he takes is the game winner, and he makes it. And it's like, oh, what a clutch play, what a clutch shot. And then, of course, that is the beginning of the origin story of this crazy career.
I get the name that comes to mind is a bigger name, and it's, on the Mount Rushmore, and it's he probably would have broken that reputation one way or another. but it was LeBron James not being clutch, not being able to generate his own shot, blah, blah, blah. Then down the stretch against the Pistons, Detroit, absolutely murders with 24 points, I think, all straight. Nobody else on his team scoring. So that, I think, changed that reputation, except somehow he got it again and then needed to break it in Boston in Game 6 in 2012.
Yeah, he got it back courtesy of one JJ Barea.
But okay, so speaking of the Knicks here, they got Josh Hart on the bench, which first time they changed the starting lineup all season long. Here's why. The Knicks starting lineup now had played 308 minutes together this postseason. They had a net rating of negative 10.62. That's the worst team in the NBA. Well, the worst team in the NBA, which was the Jazz, in the regular season had a net rating of negative 9.3. So that was bad. And you take out Josh Hart, you put in Mitchell Robinson. Here's what Josh Hart had to say about moving to the bench.
It was kind of my decision, and I was comfortable with it. And
you mean you went to town with it?
We had this was a conversation that I've had before. It's something that I've had in the back of my mind, and I've always been willing to do. And down to especially with how he played last game, it was just that's something that we had to do. And obviously that's a group decision that really boils down to Thibs and myself. But I don't care. I don't care if I start. I don't care if I play 20 minutes. If we win, we win.
That's such an easy flex to have in the back pocket. Oh, I'm always okay with going to the bench. So when it mattered, I'll be the guy with no ego. It's like, that's right. You are. But it's funny when you have to announce it afterward.
I remember when Chris Childs was a starting point guard for the Knicks. And then he went to Jeff Van Gundy and said, you should start Charlie Ward ahead of me. And he was going for that, I'll be respected for it. And the New York papers killed him. We spent how much money for this guy to now want to come off the bench? Oh my God, they killed him. I felt so bad because.
By the way, go ahead.
No, he didn't get any of that that glow up you're describing right now from Josh Hart.
Josh Hart played 34 minutes. That's 6 more than Mitchell Robinson. So it's one thing to get benched, and another thing to have your minutes taken away. And 34 minutes is a lot. But did the lineup switch actually work?
I guess it worked in the sense that they were minus 10 before, and when Towns and Robinson were on the floor together, they were net 0. So I guess that's cool. To me, this came down to, look, you wanted to start Mitchell Robinson because you have defensive issues, because Towns is getting picked on, and because Brunson isn't exactly a great defensive player. So boom, I want to insert a better defensive player in there to anchor this. So it's Mitchell Robinson. Why would he replace the starting 2 guard in Josh Hart? Would he replace Karl-Anthony Towns by that virtue? But again, Josh Hart, as you can see from that clip, he's the type of guy that whatever it takes to win. Whereas Towns, I think that might have really took a hit to his confidence to have to deal with that.
It's not just the type of player he is, it's who he is, right? It's your all-NBA guy who just got here via trade, right? So it's maybe next year you could pull that off. This year it feels like you would crush him if you benched him.
Yeah, pretty much. And by the way, again, Brunson and KAT both were in foul trouble really early. They picked up 4 fouls really early. And then Thibs had to go even deeper into the bench than he usually does. So we saw DeLon Wright, we saw Landry Shamet out there. Deuce McBride gave him some great minutes as well. And so Charles Barkley actually asked the smartest question of the night, which was, had they not gotten into foul trouble, do you think Thibs would have ever gone elsewhere into his bench for people?
I don't. Kenny Smith had the line of the night. He said Thibodeau wouldn't even play 9 players on a baseball team. And so if you look at these numbers, DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet, 2 points and 3 points respectively, 13 minutes and 11 minutes respectively, barely shot the ball. And so you're looking at a steal in there, a couple assists in there. So you look at that and you're Tom Thibodeau, you're like, oh, I was super scared to play a couple of guys for 10 minutes. Why? It's not like they're going to go out there and take 20 shots. It's not like they're going to go out there right now with the Pacers and they're just going to line them up and take them, take their lunch from. I think you can play a couple of guys those minutes, especially if it's somebody like Shamet who can stretch the floor, somebody like DeLon Wright who can really D up or cuts really well. Got that layup on that very fancy pass from Karl-Anthony Towns. So I think Thibs is just human. He realizes, oh wow, this worked and everybody loves me for it. I'm just going to keep doing it. it. That way he can say, no, I didn't do it because of the foul trouble.
These guys brought energy. And in the first half, when it was going crazy, they ended the first half on a nice little run. It was because of those bench guys. And then when they came in the third quarter, they did it again. So it's not always about, because they came in and made shots. Sometimes it's just playing hard and changing the complexion of the game. All right, we gotta move on. We gotta go to the other side of the ledger. Tyrese Haliburton didn't have a great game in Game 4. Izzy, I mean, it was good in the first half. Again, when they're up 20 and everyone's having the time of their life, but he didn't really show up in the second half when they really needed him.
I was wondering, I just like asking myself this question because I was looking at the game and I'm like, all right, he's not having a great game. The game seems to be getting away from them a little bit in the fourth. Is it Tyrese Haliburton that needs to carry the Pacers? And then I was like, wait a second. Has he been the guy actually carrying them? Because if you look through the games, it's like Pascal Siakam, huge game. Haliburton kind of finishes. Aaron Nesmith, huge, second half, 6 for 6, whatever that was from 3. Haliburton finishes. Is Haliburton not? I guess he's the closer, right? But is he also kind of aura farming? Like, is he the guy, really the superstar guy? Because that's the guy who I think needs to carry you for 40 minutes.
What the hell does aura farming mean? I keep hearing it. I have no idea what this means.
You just got to figure it out. Like it's a feel. You can't really explain it.
You don't know what it means either. That's what I just.
Let's go to break. Damn it. You can't pin me on this.
Welcome back to Oddball. I'm still in my evil genius seat. I feel like I should be plotting how to rule the world.
It's funny we haven't even pointed out yet because you just look natural in it. You kind of feel like evil genius.
Pretty much. It's time for another edition of Hot Streak. Hot Streak is not my evil plan to raise the global warming, but rather it's a game presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all that's offered throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Last Wednesday, we picked the Pacers plus 4.5 to win Game 2. Guess what happened? We got it right because they won that game. So let's stay hot. We've got 2 Game 4s to choose from, Izzy. We got Thunder at T-Wolves. That's a game I'm going to in a matter of hours here. Thunder are 3-point favorites on the road, even though the T-Wolves curb stomped them in Game 3, 143 to 102.
I hate that phrase.
Curb stomping?
Yeah, it makes me think of that movie American History X.
That's all I think of, right? You may have seen this stat floating around. This came out, and Duncan tweeted about it. No championship team has ever lost a playoff game by 40-plus points, and obviously Minnesota beat Oklahoma City by 42. So ipso facto, the Thunder are done, or they're ready to make history, as Nate points out there. And this is true because even though no championship team has ever lost a playoff game by 40 or more points, 3 of the last 5 champs have lost the game by 38 or more on the way to the title. Yeah,
so that's trending toward 40 is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. So like the Warriors lost by 39 in 2022. The Nuggets lost the game by I think it was 37 or something. The Celtics,
what's the diff? I bet you wish you had the diff right now.
A lot of 39s and 38s on that screen right there. So the moral of the story is, okay, so I don't think the 3 points is that big of a spread, 3 or 4 points there. So
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Thunder
but
fans,
I was thinking about this. I eliminated the Thunder because of that in my head for about 5 minutes. And I said, wow, Pacers are up 2-0. They're probably going to close this out. Yeah. If the Pacers win the championship, like what kind of craziness will happen this offseason? Because it just feels like it opens the door. It's like, wait a second. The Pacers just won the championship. We can get like 3 guys together and beat their asses. So let's put a team together.
So this reminds me of like 2023, Denver versus Miami, and Miami obviously making an improbable run from the play-in, from the 8th seed to get to the finals, and everyone was like, "What does this mean if the Heat win the championship? Does this mean nothing matters?" Right? Like not only does the regular season not matter, but not even finishing in the top 6 matters. That doesn't even matter. You can just be in the play-in and do this. And you know what the basketball gods did? They took care of business for us. And I think the same thing will happen if the Pacers make it to the finals. The basketball gods are going to take care of it for us and not allow.
The Timberwolves will beat them.
An abomination will not happen. But before we get into that, like, first of all, we got to pick one of these teams, right? To keep our hot streak going. So do you like OKC -3, Minnesota +3, Knicks plus 2.5 or Pacers or Cers, as it says on our screen here.
Yes, sir. By the way, our producers don't seem to like that T-shirt of the Pacers. That's the best of the group. The yes, sirs. That's the best one.
I'd rather that than win for the geographical area that you might recognize if you're from here. Win for the boroughs. Corny. Win for the Bay Area. Win for the, like the Beltway. Win. It's so dumb. Yeah,
yes, sirs is the best one. But I'm actually surprised the Thunder are even still favored in this one after that 42-point beatdown. I thought it would be like maybe a mini -1 just to make them feel good. So my inclination is OKC -3.
We didn't talk enough about this, but
I'm sorry, the other way around. Mini +3.
Mini +3. We didn't talk about this today, but that game, that blowout, I walked away with a whole new respect and admiration for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You hear him, it was mic'd up, and he's telling one of his teammates like all the reasons why they lost the game, and how many of them are like, that was our fault. We didn't do things. And I was talking about this on the radio yesterday. In business school, they have this thing they talk about internal locus of control. Internal locus of control means when bad things happen to me, my initial instinct is to look at the things that I did, the decisions I made, the choices I made, and then try to adjust that. External locus of control is, man, they was hating on, man, the refs was this, man, was that, like, and so Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sitting there and saying, they came out aggressive, they came out with force and intention, we didn't, and we fell behind the 8 ball. Now they shot it great, we didn't shoot it great, and we can't control that, and maybe we would have lost anyway, but it wouldn't have been like this had we done the things that we're supposed to do. And it's not even that he recognizes or accepts that accountability. It's that in that moment, in the middle of a blowout, when it's easy to just kind of like zone out and wait for the end of the game, he took the time to turn to a teammate, a younger teammate, and make it a teaching moment. Like, in this moment, we're going to learn from this. We're going to understand why things happen. And it's like, that was like, I mean, that's what makes him a special talent. It's not just he's incredible on the court. It's this wherewithal.
You went to business school?
I have an MBA.
Really?
You don't know this? Yes.
No, I did not know that. I honestly didn't think that basketball IQ and business IQ necessarily mesh. I think you have to be a very unique human being to get that. Those are my least favorite classes, but okay. Now it makes a little bit more sense.
Oh, man. Hey, man. Me
Economics,
and Big
man.
Diesel.
That's just for other people. It's not for me.
not for me. All right. So the question is, which underdog has the best chance of winning game 4 outright?
I gotta say it's Mini, right? Like,
you picking Mini +3, but like,
but I still have them like winning it outright because look, the Knicks doing that again. I don't see it. I don't see it, and so I can't see Minnesota keeping this game close and potentially winning a close one.
It's been 3 close games. That's what I don't get. Like, everyone's like writing the Knicks off. Like, it's not like they're getting their ass whooped in these games, other than the first half of game 3. For the most part, they've led more than they've trailed in this series. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think it's the Knicks, but
okay, you know what? Let's take the Knicks because they don't just have double stakes on it for you. Let's do the Knicks. What is it? Plus 2.5?
Yeah, sure.
Knicks plus 2.5. All right, so the All-NBA teams came out. Here's a look at the players on here. Just curious if there's any surprises here for you. There's one name on there that's a little bit of a surprise, and there's 2 names on there that I kind of would like to throw on there for discussion.
I would say LeBron being second team was a little bit of a surprise, and then Harden being there again, given the year that I know he got the All-Star nod. I don't know if Harden was all NBA this year. He was good, but I don't know if he was all NBA. What about you?
I feel like that just momentum kind of happened late in the season because there was surprise at how well he was playing, and they sort of put him up there. I still think if Devin Booker was on a better team, it's a no-brainer. He played 75 games, pretty much averaged 26 and 8. And his team was not in the play-in, but I'm curious. Like, I wonder, what do you value there more?
I'm not saying you got to win 68 games, but you also can't miss the play-in.
Okay, then how about Trae Young leading the league in assists? You know, made the play-in.
I think so. I think, again, when you start talking about the lower depths of success, it makes it harder for people like that to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. I know you love Jalen Williams, but about the idea that other solid players would have been an all-star in his spot.
They won 68 games. You can't have one All NBA performer and you won 68 games. That just doesn't make sense.
He does too much. You can't really knock him for that.